Dear TREF investors, the TREF Town Hall meeting is tomorrow, Tuesday, September 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Black House, also known as the Legacy Center. The address is 3015 RN Martin Street, East Point, Georgia, 30344. Doors open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the meeting will last until 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? We ask that the investors wear red so that we can identify each other. The reason this is important is because even though this meeting is a TREF Talks live, for some reason on August 27th, Jay Morrison invited the entire public, including his haters, quote unquote, commentators, bloggers, vloggers, and trolls via Instagram Live, claiming that it's me versus y'all, all y'all, including us vocal investors. Why our fund manager is against us, I have no clue. The presence of those who are not investors can potentially turn this into a spectacle and detract and distract from the purpose of the meeting, which is the fund's poor performance and our questions regarding the recent SEC filings. For those investors not coming in person, look out for the live stream link to be sent via email from TREF within the next 24 hours. Below in the Google document at tulsarealestatefraud.com, I will put the Zoom link to our past TREF Talks, and perhaps you can click there. I'm not sure if that link will actually change. I encourage all investors to review our existing questions at the top of our public Google document at tulsarealestatefraud.com. This is the direct link below to the questions that we already have, so you can easily access them from your phone during the meeting if you're coming in person, or your computer if you are coming from home. Feel free to email me any additional questions at Jullien, Jullien, at thefreedomschool.com, and I will do my best to weave them into our Google document before the meeting. This will not be a duel between myself and Jay Morrison. I want that to be very clear. This meeting will not be a duel between myself and Jay Morrison. I have said what I needed to say as the lead investor and a fellow real estate developer who understands how real estate investing works at a very high level. It is now your turn to step up to show that we are a unified front and that this is not framed as me versus Jay Morrison, because that is not the case. This is not an episode of Judge Judy. I repeat, this is not an episode of Judge Judy. The questions and accountability must come from us collectively, not just me. Like Jeremiah 1:9, I will only speak at the meeting if God touches me and puts words in my mouth to speak again. You are powerful and you can advocate for yourself. We are a diverse group of investors and everyone needs to hear your story too. We need to hear from the single mom, the youth, the retired elder, the family of 5, the siblings that invested together, the newlyweds, etc. Part of the problem with us as a people is that we are always waiting for leaders and heroes to save the day when you are the one that you've been waiting for. This has been a learning process for all of us as investors, and we must all get better, myself included, at doing due diligence, reading numbers, and decoding financial narratives in preparation for future profitable investments. As I said before in my last speech, is that I forgive my old self from 5 years ago for making the decision that I made. That was my old self. That is not the decision I would make today, knowing what I know now. Okay. So consider your investment in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund as a tuition payment towards your financial education. That's what we have to write it off as at this point in time. None of us will ever make this mistake again when the stakes are higher and you're in position in the near future to invest 10 times as much money into something else later. I believe that. You should be educated about the issues and feel confident enough to ask questions we already have in our Google document. Again, that's at tulsarealestatefraud.com. I will put those questions at the top of the document so they're easy to access. Okay. Or you can ask your own questions. You do not have to pull from our research-based questions that we want answers to. Jay Morrison is a slick talker and a sweet talker. So be prepared to have follow-up questions to get to the real answers you desire. Questions that only have a yes or no response are a very powerful way to keep the conversation focused. As stated before, we would like to treat this as a real board meeting in the absence of a true board of directors. Board meetings require that the manager or executive or leader supply a board deck that has data and documents to discuss. This meeting should be based on fact, not feeling or personal relationships. We requested 9 documents with templates in my first YouTube video on Thursday, August 24th, and I followed up with a direct text message to Jay Morrison and his wife, Miss Ernestine Morrison, on Sunday, August 27th at 9:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We asked for those documents to be sent to investors by midnight on Saturday, September 2nd, so that we could review them in advance. That did not occur as expected. The documents we requested included the current cash balance as of today, and the reason we have to do that is because the SEC filings are typically a year late. So we only have SEC filings up to June 30th, 2022, but now we are in September of 2023. So we as investors are in the dark that entire period of time because the fund has failed to do their filings on time. We also asked for the 2023 income statement and balance sheet. Any fund operating with QuickBooks or some other accounting software should be able to print that unaudited report immediately with no strain whatsoever. We asked for proof of the $2 million of SEC compliance budget that Jay stated he spent on compliance. I do not believe that compliance budget was $2 million. We need a visual chart of all entities, including your anonymous entities, Jay Morrison, the ones that you own, your ownership stake. We need a visual of how all of these entities work together. Number 5, we need employee compensation by year and org chart. We would love to see how much you paid your wife and your friends over this 5-year period of time, calling her a consultant or chief communications director, right, with no experience of doing any of the such things. We also ask for vendor payments by year, right, so that we can see GMA itemized. The general marketing and administrative budget in the SEC filings is too vague. And so we are asking for an itemized version of the GMA. And what we would like to see is how vendors have been paid. And if you have any personal relationship to those vendors, some of those vendors being Jay Morrison's other companies. We want to see the assets that the Tulsa Real Estate Fund actually owns. We know that we own perhaps 25% of the Black House at this moment in time. We don't know if we own your home or if you own your home, and we would like to see evidence of that. We want proof of rental payments by Jay Morrison's companies to the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Based on our research, we see that there have been some deferred rental payments, and we have not seen them hit the income statement yet. And then 9, we ask for the transactional funding decision sheet. On the website, it says that we have looked at 88 transactions. We've only funded 25. We would like to see the decision set because I know that I personally brought deals to the table that have been profitable, that I've actually cashed out of, that Jay Morrison has passed on as the fund manager. We also asked for other things like police presence. Tomorrow, we asked that Jay's entire team be present in case he can't answer a particular question. We asked that a projector and laptop be present so that we can all pull up visual evidence. We do not want this to be a curated environment where Jay is the one with the microphone. He's on the stage. He has his computer. He has his PowerPoint. We want the ability to also come up on stage and share evidence, visual evidence that we also have so that everybody can be on the same page. All right. And we asked that investors get priority admission. We have no clue how many people are going to come tomorrow. And so we ask that investors have priority admission. This is another reason why we encourage investors to wear red. And then we also encourage priority microphone time for investors as well. All right. The fund's lack of response to our demands leads me to believe that this meeting will likely be for entertainment purposes only. We won't get any real work done. Rather than focusing on the cold, hard facts, Jay Morrison and his team will utilize tactics such as storytelling, narrative, charisma, hope, spin, and propaganda to avoid accountability and the fund's imminent bankruptcy. Rather than agreeing to meet on our terms that we stated, he is asking or seeking to control the conversation and environment, and it will be about him, not us. Hence his quote, come up, pull up, all y'all, me against all y'all, including investors. Again, why would your own fund manager, who you gave your hard-earned money to, be up against you? All we are asking for is our money back. Liquidate assets and give us our money back. That's all we're asking for, and we have that right. Here are some of the things to observe, family, so that you can see beyond the smoke and the mirrors. Jay Morrison will mention that the SEC and DOJ had no findings as evidence of his integrity, transparency, and accuracy. But keep in mind that their initial investigation was between March 7th, 2019 and May 27th, 2020, when the fund didn't have many transactions. And the transactions that we are questioning now occurred after that in the last 3 years since then. Okay, so do not be fooled by that rhetoric or that language. He will also not admit that the fund is almost bankrupt. He will not admit that he has taken millions of dollars from the fund through management fees, intercompany partnerships, deals with family members, forgiving himself through his other companies of debts owed to the fund, paying family and friends, and of course, buying his own house with our money. He will also use haters and even us as vocal investors and COVID as his scapegoat for why the fund is failing. He is already seeding, which is another psychological tactic. He is seeding through his social media the failure of the fund. And he's posting quotes like, "You can only learn by doing." And that means screwing up a lot before one day you don't. So through social media, he is seeding and probably researching his speech in preparation for why the fund has failed to be able to shape and control the narrative. He has also compared our fund to technology startups in the Silicon Valley that have taken years upon years upon years to get to profitability. A real estate fund does not go on the same trajectory as a technology company. These are not comparables. So do not buy into that rhetoric at all. In real estate, we went on the buy. And so we buy right immediately, and we should be in the black immediately upon purchase. Or if we buy something that we rehab, then we develop it, and soon thereafter, within 1 to 2 years, that asset should be producing income. This is not a technology company, Jay, and you know that. I want to be clear that no matter what happens at tomorrow's meeting, the court of public opinion does not matter. What the people say, what the haters say, what Jay Morrison says, none of that actually matters tomorrow. As investors, we must continue to file our complaints to the SEC until the SEC takes action. The United States SEC, or Security and Exchange Commission, and the DOJ, Department of Justice, will have the final say and determine the consequences, not us or Jay Morrison. I want to be very clear that whatever happens tomorrow is actually irrelevant. We must apply pressure to the SEC by submitting our complaints so that they circle around the block again and actually look at the transactions that have occurred in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund since they left the first time. My greatest lesson in this whole thing has been the realization that righteousness is not just me being good to other people. That is the easy side of righteousness. It is also us stopping bad people from doing bad things to good people. And that is what we are doing here by uniting. We are stopping a perpetrator in our community from robbing our community, and we are speaking up about it. That is what is occurring, and that is the other side of righteousness that people do not want to hear. Yes, when you have the archetype of Jesus, you have the loving lamb, but you also have the table turner. And we are here to turn over tables. We want to see under the hood of the organization, and we want to know the truth. Our ask in regards to our money. This is so crazy. This is our ask in regards to our money. We are one as investors, return our funds. We are one, return our funds. We are one, return our funds. I look forward to witnessing our unity tomorrow. This is an opportunity for us to make history and establish accountability in our community when it comes to group economics. Thank you so much.